Hello everyone, it's Angie and welcome back to UK Money Wisdom. Today I want to talk to you about something that you should be aware of. Hmrc is sending more letters. I'm going to tell you about 5 that every pensioner should never ignore. That brown envelope from Hmrc, it arrives through your letterbox mixed in with bills, leaflets and ordinary post, and you think, I'll look at that later. But later can sometimes turn a simple tax query into a much bigger headache. Ignoring the wrong Hmrc letter can lead to incorrect tax, missed deadlines, penalties, or a bill you were not expecting. That's why today I want to explain the 5 Hmrc letters so that every pensioner can recognise and know exactly what to do if and when one lands on their mat. And do watch carefully for number 4, because that is the one many people underestimate. Let's begin with number 1, which is a tax code notice. This is probably the most common letter many pensioners receive. A tax code notice tells you how Hmrc believes your tax should be calculated. Your tax code determines how much tax is deducted from your private pension or other taxable income throughout the year. Many people assume that because the code has come from Hmrc, it must automatically be correct. Unfortunately, that is not the case a lot of the time these days. Tax codes, you see, can change for ordinary reasons. I'm going to go into this in a little detail here, but I just wanted to say that I've prepared an ebook that will be invaluable to every pensioner. I can't do without it now, and if a tax code comes through the door, even with my knowledge, when this guide is available, it's going to be sold on Amazon, but I will make it available at a cheaper price to my UK Money Wisdom subscribers. As I was saying, unfortunately, tax codes that Hmrc send to us through the post are not always accurate. Tax codes can change for ordinary reasons. Perhaps you have started drawing another pension. Perhaps you've stopped working. Perhaps your state pension has increased. Or perhaps Hmrc has received new information from one of your pension providers. Sometimes those records are incorrect, but it is worth knowing so much more about it to save yourself a lot of time, heartache and money. If your tax code is wrong, you could end up paying so much more tax month after month. Or you could pay too little and later receive a bill asking you to make up the difference. Whenever you receive a tax code notice, do not just file it away. Check the pensions and income sources listed. Make sure they belong to you. If something does not look right, contact Hmrc as soon as possible. Sometimes even then, it's not put right, but small mistakes are usually much easier to correct early. Moving on to number 2, Hmrc letter, we look at a simple assessment letter. This is a letter that often surprises pensioners. Many people have never heard of a simple assessment until one arrives. Unlike self-assessment, where you complete a tax return yourself, Hmrc calculates the tax it believes you owe using information it already holds. You may receive one if Hmrc thinks you have underpaid tax during the year. Not uncommon. This can happen if you receive more than one pension, or if the tax deducted was not quite enough. Again, receiving this letter does not mean you have done anything wrong. It simply means Hmrc believes there is tax to settle. Read the figures carefully. Check that the income shown is yours. Check that the amounts look sensible. If everything appears correct to you, follow the payment instructions in the letter. But if something looks wrong, and as I say, HMRC information is becoming much more complicated for the likes of ordinary people to understand these days. We're not taught it at school, and we don't have a good reference guide that we can refer to, and that's what I'm building up for all of us. So if something looks wrong at face value, do not ignore it. Contact HMRC promptly and ask for an explanation. Many misunderstandings can be resolved simply by checking the information together. Let's move on to number 3, a letter asking you to complete a self-assessment tax return. Many pensioners are even more surprised when HMRC asks them to complete a tax return. They often think, I'm retired, why would I need one now? But retirement does not automatically remove the requirement. Some pensioners have rental income. Others receive overseas pensions. Some have self-employed income, investment income, or more complex financial arrangements. Now, HMRC may decide that a self-assessment return is needed. This is not a letter to put in a drawer and forget. There are strict filing deadlines, and missing those deadlines can lead to penalties, even if no tax is ultimately due. And I hate having to warn pensioners like this, but I'm here to help you, and it's my duty to do so. If you are unsure why you have received the letter, contact HMRC or ask me in the comments below, and I'll try and help you. If you have never completed a tax return before, seek help from someone you trust or from a qualified advisor if necessary. The important thing is not to hope the letter will disappear. It won't. Number 4, this is the one that you must not miss the deadline on, and it's a request for information. I don't know how many of you have received this, but from my own experience, I know of many people who have, I'm afraid. And this is the one many people do underestimate. Sometimes HMRC simply wants clarification. Perhaps they need confirmation of your income. Perhaps they are checking pension details. Maybe they need supporting information relating to a tax claim, allowance, or a calculation. Now, receiving a request for information can feel worrying, but very often it is simply part of routine administration. The important thing is to respond by the date requested. You must do that. Read the letter carefully, understand exactly what HMRC is asking for. If you are unsure, ring them and ask. It is far better to ask a question than to guess. Ignoring requests for information can delay matters, create more correspondence, and sometimes make a simple issue more complicated than it needed to be, and there are penalties that HMRC are issuing more and more. Here's number 5, the last one today, and it's a letter from HMRC saying you owe tax. This is probably the letter most people dread opening. Nobody likes seeing a tax demand. But before you panic, remember something important. A letter from HMRC is not automatically proof that the amount is correct. Mistakes can happen. Income may have been recorded incorrectly. Tax already deducted may not yet have been reflected. A pension provider may have submitted updated figures after the calculation was made. So do not simply assume the amount is right. Read the explanation carefully. Compare it with your own records. Check your pension statements if necessary. And if you believe something is incorrect, contact HMRC and ask them to explain how the figure has been calculated. And don't delay. because many issues can be resolved simply by going through the numbers carefully. Here's a few final thoughts. If there's one message I would like you to remember from today's video, it's this. Do not fear Hmrc letters. We can sort them out. So that's the first thing. But I really do stress, do not ignore them either. Most letters are simply part of keeping your tax affairs up to date. And it's something that we just have to get used to or get help in order to do so. And the sooner you open them, read them carefully and deal with any action required, the easier life usually becomes. Remember, I'm always here to point you in the right direction. And as I say, you'll need me less and less when you receive the new PDF that will be coming out in a week or so's time. Do keep copies of your pension statements, tax notices, and important correspondence. That way, if questions arise later, you have the information ready. And remember, if you do not understand an Hmrc letter, you're certainly not alone. Tax can seem complicated, especially after retirement, when people may receive income from several different sources. Take your time, read the letter carefully, ask questions if you need to, and never feel embarrassed about seeking clarification. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and share it with a loved one who could well use the information, because then you can be sure to receive my next video, and it'll also tell YouTube to show it to more people who may well need this information. And remember, do subscribe to UK Money Wisdom so you will be eligible to receive my upcoming PDF ebook. And so you can make informed decisions and, most importantly, avoid costly mistakes. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now. Stay well. I'm Angie from UK Money Wisdom.